in day 2, after we had prayers, the thing that we had to do was to get my father's body released from the mortuary. To do this, you will need to go to the morgue, and there are some documents that will require signing and checking, and they will also bring you to check the body before they release it, just to make sure it is the right person. So maybe a note for all the deceased that have been sent to the hospital, there will be a doctor that is assigned to each one, and you'll be able to be in touch with this doctor. I remember I had a call talking to the doctor and to decide whether or not to perform the post-mortem, and also any uncertainty, you can also communicate and talk to the doctor that has been assigned. So after the paperworks are ready, the family have checked the body, then the body will be released from the mortuary, and then the family will also need to decide whether the body will be transported to a parlour, or where do the family want the body to be transported to. So for us, transported the body to a parlour, and so this may be something to note, that the family will have to decide before to get the body released. The other thing was that when we went, it was almost midnight of day 2, and so there were not many traffic. If you were to get the body released in the morning or in the daytime, there might be a lot of cars and traffic might be bad. So it would be good if you can have a driver go with you, so that you don't have to look for parking or park very far just to walk to the mortuary. So if you have a driver, a friend or a relative can help out, they can just drop you off, you get everything done, you can just call them and come and pick you up, and you can go. When we went, we had 3 uncles, which are good family friends, that came and accompany us to get this done. So once we were settled at the mortuary, we went straight to the parlour where my father's body was transported to. And in the parlour, first the body of the deceased will be embalmed, and I think this involves some injection. But this process will not be done in front of any of the family members. I think it's because they might need to do certain movement to get the body in the correct way to be able to do the injection. And sometimes the family members might not want to see the body handled in that way, but they need to do it, otherwise they can't do the embalmment. And so family members will be asked to wait, and once the embalmment is done, then they will be washing the body. For washing the body, the parlour will have staff that will assist in washing of the body. But I think if your own family members want to wash the body, I think you are allowed to do so. And maybe just so you know how it is like, so the body will be laid on a counter, and then the private area will be covered with a cloth, and there will be a shower hose that will be used to clean, and there will be an area where the family members are able to stand if they want to. So for us, my mom wanted to be there when they were washing the body. So myself and my younger sister and these 3 other uncles that were accompanying us were also with us there. After washing the body, that is when they will put on the last outfit of the deceased. So this is when your family may want to decide what outfit or what pants or shirt that you want to put on, because then this is when they'll put on the outfit. So also when my mom reached the parlour and they were going to wash the body, when my mom saw my father's body, she just broke down and was crying. And so that person that was assigned to help out my mom, this was also the time when, you know, they had to hold on to my mom. My eldest brother was the one that was assigned to tend to my mom. Once the embalmment is done, the body has been washed, outfit has been put on, then the body will be transported to the parlor hall, where there will be a body freezer box that can be looked into, and it will be placed there. So just to give you an idea, how does the parlor facility look like? So there is a main hall, and then in the middle, that is where the freezer box will be. In front of the freezer box, there will be a display table. In front, the area there will usually be chairs where visitors that come can be seated, and behind the hall there's a small room for the family to use, whether it is to put things or to rest or to change. There's that room, and the washing room is a separate room, a separate place from this parlor hall. And usually when you are using a parlor facility, there will be a lot of services that you can ask for, and the parlor management should be able to assist you with. So things like if you need tables or chairs or projectors or speakers or microphones, these kind of things you can check with management. Oh, I also forgot to mention that in the entrance to the hall, there was a table and there was a contribution box there in case the people using the facility needs it. So some note for day 2. Number 1 is that you may want to be aware of the expenses, how much your family might need to use. For us, we only had a very simple and dignified arrangement for the funeral and the parlor, and just to spend on the parlor, coffin, the obituary arrangement, and the funeral and the burial ground. Yes, if you didn't know, burial ground, the area, the land where anybody is to be buried, will require some payment. And just for this arrangement alone can amount up to 20,000 ringgit and above. This was how it was for us, and we didn't know this in the beginning. Only after the funeral and everything was done and we were calculating how much was used, then only we knew this. So maybe something for your family to be aware of when it happens. Number 2 would be on food and meal arrangement. There will be people coming to visit and to see how is everyone and to pay their respects, and it will be good to have some refreshments or some food even for your own family member to eat, because sometimes you'll be very occupied with all the different things that you need to look into, and food may be something that is very easily overlooked, but you will need to eat to be able to run all the errands that you need to during this time. And also it'll be nice to have something that you can serve people who have come to visit, just as a token of appreciation, or just something for the people who come to, in Malay called isi perut, or in Chinese we like to say 小意思. So when everything was done in day 2 and my father's body was transferred into the freezer box and placed in the main hall, it was already around 1 or 2 a.m. and that was it for day 2. So for day 3, you will need to select a picture that will be used to place in the display table. When people enter the hall, they will put a picture. Usually it will be those passport type of picture, the one that shows the head, the face, and so you will need to select one that you would like to use to be displayed there. Then the other things that we had to look into in day 3 was the death certificate, obituary arrangement, coffin, burial ground, and prayer service. So for death certificate in Malaysia, it is issued in Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara or JPN. And if I'm not mistaken, you will need to bring the identification card of the deceased along, and I'm not sure what else is required to do this. At that time, both my sisters went, and they were the one to settle that. And yeah, so my brother was attending to my mom, and I was in the parlour together with my mom and brother to receive the visitors. Also to note, when the issuing of the death certificate is being done, the counter will take back the identification card. So it will be good for your family to maybe have photocopy of the identification card just for your own keeping, in case in the future, for whatever arrangement that requires the identification card as reference, you have it with you. After they have taken the identification card, then they will issue a certificate that is called the death certificate. So for obituary and coffin, obituary, the parlour management can assist. So you just need to provide them with all the names and how are they related to the deceased. You need to specify which one is the children, the spouse of the children, grandchildren, and then also to know that different size obituary will have different price range as well. Then for coffin arrangement, the parlour was also able to assist with it. What type of material used to make the coffin will determine the price range of the coffin. As to tombstone design, those are, you don't have to decide it that earlier. Well, at least for us, we only had to look into this after the burial. We were also able to do that. More importantly is these few things. So also, parlours usually will have different packages that you can look into, and in the different package, we usually include different type of service and facilities that will be made available to you. So just so you know. So for day 3, we spent the whole day in the parlour itself, and my mom was seated in the front row, and my eldest brother was attending to my mom throughout the whole time. And at times my mom would want to be next to my father in the freezer box, and so she would walk there and to say her prayers, and sometimes just to be close to him. And sometimes she would stand there, and sometimes we will bring a chair there for her to sit. It is also the time when people can come and visit and say prayers if they want to, and to also talk to my mom. So in day 3 for us, it was also the time when we had to determine the burial site and the funeral arrangement, and all those information had to be announced and informed on day 3 itself as well. Also at night of day 3, we had a prayer service, and so that was also arranged and had to be announced in that day itself. So some useful information that you would need to send out in relation to the burial and the funeral would be things like